Are you looking to get into the commercial real estate world in a big way so you can make more money? Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about my 6 reasons why transitioning into the commercial real estate world has changed my life. First things off, everyone talks about money, so I want to talk about money first. The checks are seriously as they described. They are substantially different than the residential world. My average commission check in the residential world when I was selling over 100 homes was somewhere between the $10,000 and $15,000 range. Not saying anything's bad about that, because I know some of the middle of the country is earning something like, I don't know, $4,000 or $7,000 a deal, so I definitely wasn't too upset, but I definitely had to do a lot of volume in order to make money. Now in the commercial world, just a few short years later, where I'm still doing quite a bit of volume, I'm here to tell you that my average commission check is around $140,000. Now, when the average commission check is over 140 grand, what that allows you to do, especially when you're doing it at scale, because I come from the world of doing a lot of transactions. What's cool about this is that I'm coming from the residential world as a top agent, where I was selling over 100 homes. So I have the mentality that I can do over 100 transactions in this world. So doing 100 transactions at $140,000 average commission check is a lot of freaking money. What I'm here to show you is that when you think big, in the commercial world, it's really big. Now, in the residential world, when you think big, it's decent. So, the money really is what people talk about. The cool part also is that when it comes to the commission checks, the work is somewhat similar. You're prospecting for sellers, I'm prospecting for great deals. It's somewhat similar. When also in the residential world, you're prospecting for a lot of listings. These great deals just turn into contracts. The game is very, very simplistic. So if you can learn the commercial real estate game, just like you may have learned maybe some other sales jobs, it is a fantastic and simple way to make a crazy amount of money. And point number 2, you have to sell less business in order to make good money. Because you have to sell less properties, this allows you to just focus on doing a really good job on a few amount of properties each and every single year. A lot of commercial real estate agents only sell 3 or 4 properties every year, but they make 4 times as much money as an average residential agent. So you do the math. Point number 3, less competition. The cool part about being in the commercial world is that there's really not a lot of competition. In my specific area in New Jersey, there's really not a lot of competition at all. There's like maybe 4 guys that I've ever really heard of or continue to hear of ever who do any sort of decent amount of business. I'm talking about like a couple transactions a year or more. So the fact that there's nearly no competition, well, by the way, and in my county alone, in New Jersey, there's like 8 or 10,000 residential agents, but there's only a few commercial real estate agents who do really any business. There's less competition, there's more money per deal, and you have to do less deals to make any decent money. So far, it's a win-win-win. Point number 4, there's no emotion. Everything's about the money. So that being said, you don't have to worry about someone coming into a deal and they'll be like, I don't really know if I can make sense of living here. I don't really like the neighbors, or this like doesn't feel right. Right? Ever hear somebody when you go and show a residential house and they're just like, I don't really like the paint. You don't like the paint. The property makes $1 million a year. I don't care about the paint. This thing's a cash cow. The point I'm trying to make here is that it's all about the money. And if it makes dollars, it makes sense to buy it. The cool part about not having any emotion is that there's not really any things to trip over other than, does this property make money? And if it doesn't make money, how do we structure a deal where we can make sense of the cash flow? Think about it like this. In the residential world, it's all about emotion. Can I feel good being here? Do I feel good being in this area and buying this home? When in the commercial world, or in the investment world specifically, it's like, does this thing make dollars? Great, that makes sense to buy it. So point number 5, time freedom. The cool part about the commercial world is where if you're doing really, really well, most commercial agents don't work on weekends. They don't take phone calls on weekends. They don't even work nights. Heck, they only barely work 9 to 5. And that's very common in the commercial real estate world. If you're somebody like myself who's really hungry and wants to, build up a brand, right? Like a crazy big brand, especially if you're just getting started in the industry, it's so easy to outwork the people in the commercial real estate world. It's so easy. And especially because the 1%ers make 90% of the money. So it's much easier to finally to get above the average income in the commercial real estate world, because most are only working barely 9 to 5. So you have plenty of time to outwork them, whether it's weekends or nights. If you're making great money, you really don't get phone calls after 5 or so o'clock, because your investors are, it's just how the game's played. They don't really work on weekends. Now, of course, I do get some phone calls on weekends. It's not, just like not nobody, but for the most part, it's pretty relaxed after 5 o'clock and on weekends. And point number 6, my favorite, it's the simple steps of getting into the investment world. It's a lot closer to the investment world than the residential game is. And if you're getting into the real estate world because you want to be an investor, then the commercial real estate world is right for you. What this allows you to do is learn how to think like a real estate investor. And what happens is that your focus is going to be, how do I make these real estate investors money? And over time, you could do one of a few things. You can slowly roll your commission checks into some deals, right? If you're making 100 grand, you can roll 50 grand into a deal and you can slowly become an investor in a passive way. Or because the checks are so much bigger and you're starting to do well in the industry, you're gonna have some side money where you can then invest into the same deals that you're finding for investors, where instead of selling it to them, you just buy it yourself. So it's a lot closer to being that next step in the real estate investor world. Take a deep breath and realize, hey, guess what? If you want to get one step closer to being a real estate investor, commercial real estate might be the answer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out all the amazing tools and options we have for free in the description down below. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section. And if you have yet to subscribe or like this video, make sure you do so. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.